this is too much. It is what it is. The sun is out. Oh, but baby, it's cold outside. Hello, darlings, and welcome to Performance Perspective. It's me, Care Darling, and this is a place where we look at different performances and then we share our perspectives. Now, don't forget to like and subscribe because today we are talking about Hip Hop Nutcracker. This is on Disney Plus, and I do want to say something before going into the whole performance of it all. Recently, the sad news that Stephen Boss passed away. He's known as Stephen Twitch Boss. This is someone that I followed, and he brought such, I feel like it's kind of repetitive of what everyone says, is that his dancing and just he is a light of a person, and so is his wife Allison. It is something to think about as far as check in on your happy friends, check in on your friends, just check in with other people, because it just shows that we don't know what's really going on in people's lives. How I want to continue remembering him. I think about So You Think You Could Dance. I think about him and Alex Wong, which, I mean, this is great, but in the Nutcracker, Alex Wong is in it, so we'll talk about that. Also, another thing that I was obsessed with was Disney weddings, and there was a season where it was hosted by Allison and Twitch, and I loved it. There's so many things that they've done together, like the announcement of what is the gender of their baby, but they did it in a flash mob. And yeah, those are the things that I think about when this announcement happened. I was like, man, all of these amazing performances, and also just I don't know, they made me so happy. Check in on the people that you love, even if you think that they're doing okay. In the end, you don't know. So yes, the Hip Hop Nutcracker came to Disney Plus, I believe, on November 25th. And I just thought to myself, yeah, I'll just review it in December. And I'm so glad I did. There are some things I do want to talk about as far as some things I didn't like, but overall, I did enjoy it. And the first thing I thought to myself was, oh my gosh, I would love to see this live. And when I went to look it up, it's this is the 10th anniversary that Hip Hop Nutcracker has been happening, and Disney took it. This was created by Jennifer Weber. She directed and choreographed this production. Now, if you're well, who is she? First off, she is an Olivier-nominated lady who also has done the choreography for the musical and Juliet, which I'm excited to see at the West End. I know that's one of the musicals I'll be seeing out here. So she was the one that created this over, I guess, 10 years ago. Isn't that crazy? How did we, or just me, how did I not know about this? I find this really interesting because it's taking, as she would say, taking something traditional with a bit of a twist. I would love to see Hip Hop Swan Lake. I would love to see these different ballet productions and then done hip hop. When watching the actual thing on Disney Plus, I do think it's something that you could put on the TV and just let it play in the background as people are kind of coming in, hanging out, or whatever. And here's why. The music, I can see it being impactful if you were there live, but it being on TV, it felt very just this is a recording and you're not really getting, the bass and the vibration and yeah, let's go. I do, however, think the energy coming from the performers were awesome. How when you hear someone cheer on someone, it can either be awesome or awkward in the sense of when someone says, I need you to bring energy, they think, oh, I'm just going to scream and yell. And then it just seems not genuine. And that's where the awkward comes out, because you're just what are you cheering for? What's going on? Versus, they seem to really be into it and cheer on the person because they were really good, which made me look at my iPad going, yeah, amazing. Something I kind of want to be honest about is I don't know the story of the Nutcracker. I probably have seen the Nutcracker, not the ballet version, but like Disney had a version that came out. So I remember seeing the movie and thinking it was a waste. And the only two things about the movie that I actually enjoyed was Morgan Freeman, who wasn't even in it for that long. And they also had Misty Copeland, who is known as the first African American like featured principal dancer that they actually marketed. That was in 2015. Isn't that crazy? It's these kind of things where I'm like, wow, I can't believe that it feels so recent that this happened when it should have been happening and stuff. But whatever, at least we're making progress. But still, does anyone else get a little kind of like interesting? Whatever. Anyways, she was amazing. Like, they showed her doing a dance at the end of the credits. So I'm just like, why? You know what? I would have preferred to seen her like do it. I guess hence why she was cast as the principal dancer. I feel like I've seen so many versions of the Nutcracker and I'm still confused by the story. Like, I've seen the Barbie version. The point is, I was like, okay, maybe I'll understand it watching the hip hop version. And then I didn't. I was still just as confused. But it doesn't mean that I wasn't entertained. What they did as far as the storyline is that the parents aren't getting along. And so the girl goes back in time to like remind her parents why they fell in love in the first place, right? That was the plot line. But of course, in my head, I'm like, wait, when do the rats come? And when do the, like, I just got confused because this storyline seems so,
Marty, you've got to come back with me. Back to the future.
So Allison and Twitch are the ones that are playing the parents. And it, of course, watching it makes me sad. But in a way, I'm like so glad that they had all of these things that were recorded and done because they have 3 kids. And I feel like seeing their parents in this light is like really nice. I don't know. I'm just speaking out of term at this point. I will say when watching it, I kept getting lost in the story, and I know it's hip hop. And so the costumes that they were wearing was more like streetwear, but then of course like with a twist. But in my head, I'm like, listen, you can still have the twist be the dance, but elevate the costumes in a sense. But that's just me. So I do want to talk about the performers that came in. One of the performers, of course, like I said, is Alex Wong. Now, Alex Wong plays one of the candy canes because, you know, in the ballet, there's like the sugar plum fairy, which is one of my favorites. So, but then they have in the different sort of like treats that come in. Please correct me in the comments because I know I'm messing this up. But the candy canes, you know, come in and like do a dance. But honestly, it was one of my favorites as far as performance. This is how I remember Alex Wong was, so you think you could dance? And he's like, I'm a ballet dancer. I'm a ballet dancer. I do ballet. Then him and Twitch were put together and Twitch is like, we're doing hip hop. And Alex was like, I mean, I'm a ballet dancer. I don't know if I could do hip hop. And then they did the song, Get Out of Your Mind. And it's so good. It's so good. It still lives in my head. And so it makes me happy to see that they were still working together and doing stuff, and to see Alex doing a lot of his ballet, you know, things along with his like, I'm like scene partner, doing more hip hop, and seeing that, I was like, this is dynamic. This is cool. It's one of my favorite pieces that they did in Hip Hop Nutcracker. But then there's a certain point where, okay, the Jabberwockies come out. And I was like, are they supposed to be snow, or are they like a representation of Hanukkah? Like that's what I was thinking. I was like, what's going on? And I mean, again, like the dance is cool. I think if it was live, I would be like, this is awesome. But of course the camera's close to the faces. And I wonder why. Is it just me? But I feel like a lot of dancers in this kind of had the same face, where it was either like smile the whole time, but then there wasn't like, they didn't change, you know, except for, of course, like when I looked at Allison and Twitch, because they had a thing within their relationship within the story. So they, you know, would look sad and kind of smirk and kind of like fall in love and whatever. But everyone else, it was like Yeah. And I'm sure if I did watch the ballet, I'm sure they're not like, oh, like, I don't think they smile. Like, I feel like they also keep a straight face, and maybe it's because they're more focused on the technique. Like, they use their bodies so well when expressing things. It's like, why not this? Why not your face as well? But yeah, when the Jabberwockies came out, like, first off, you know that they wear the masks. If I was the girl, I would be like, oh, what is going on? What is this? Like, what? I would kind of be afraid, but it was almost like her and the Nutcracker automatically were just like, snow. Okay, so when this gentleman came in, forgive me if I pronounce his name wrong. So when he came in, I was like, who's this white guy just coming in all in white and stuff? And okay, and to be fair, when he came out, to me, it was like, oh, he's just wearing a white suit. But then if you look at other people, there seems to be like a bit more glitter, a bit more like something. And then this guy just comes out all in white. So I was like, who's this dude? And then it shows his face and I'm like, they got Mikhail Baryshnikov. Okay, we're gonna try again. Mikhail Baryshnikov. Even though I butcher his last name, it's not that I don't know him. First off, Sex in the City, you know what I mean? When Carrie finally goes to France and stuff. But, I mean, he is, like, known as, like, an amazing ballet dancer. And I have to say, because of the Hip Hop Nutcracker, I just discovered that we can watch the 1977 Nutcracker with him as the Nutcracker dancing. Yes, do I feel dumb for being like, who's this guy? And then all of a sudden just being like, someone come here and just smack me across the face, because this is amazing that they got him to be, I believe, the snow spirit. So overall, what do I think of the Disney Plus Hip Hop Nutcracker? I mean, I think I already said it. It's okay. And it is something that I'm like, here are some of the dances. I'm like, you could watch it and be like, cool. I would probably prefer to see it live. Also, I find it inspirational. If there's something that you're like, wow, I really love this traditional piece. And then it's like, why don't you do it in a twist? Like, even if it's like, say, like a Disney movie, why don't you do your, special twist to it, whether it's like how you dance or how you look or anything like that. Anyways, darlings, that's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, don't forget to subscribe and like. Also, I would love to know if anyone has seen the show in person and like, what are your thoughts on it? But yeah, so without further ado, stay warm and take care, darling.